We're going to go inside this building. And we're going to go. Fun fact, this is where. Well, this was I'm all right. Split Brothers. This is an apartment. Back in notes, just in case this happened. So many facts in my head.
Big step.
Is this the one with the big tiles that say everything in the lobby?
No, this is the one with the walls with Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, yeah.
Store. And then by 1907, we're going to cross the street. You're going to see they went from just owning a corner store to buying up the entire block. And this is the only block of Philadelphia where all the Victorian architecture is still intact. So we're going to look at that. But then, yo, this is the craziest thing. This is the craziest thing. Okay, so Alexander Hamilton had nothing to do with this. So we're going to go inside. The walls from Independence Hall are wood paneling. So just picture, like I picture my basement, wood paneling. And, well, you could just take the paneling down and then there would just be brick exposed. Well, every 100 years they would take the paneling off Independence Hall. As a matter of fact, in 1950, if you went to Independence Hall, there wasn't any paneling. It was just exposed brick. The kind of like you see, but then they realized that people wanted to see what the walls looked like. So I don't want to be on the bullhorn on there. The walls in this room are the same walls that were inside Independence Hall. The room, I think, has to be the same size as Independence Hall because the paneling's in there.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go. How exciting. In the neighborhood of Frankfurt, like you go in this room right here, and this is the wall. So, in the early 1800s, or not the early 1800s, in the 1800s, Abraham Lincoln gave a speech in between this panel, and then when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, they laid his body at rest at Independence Hall. His body laid in between this panel. That painting, I'm getting goosebumps just telling you about this. This is, I just love this place so much. That's a painting by Charles Wilson Peele. The second bank in the United States is over here, 4th and Chestnut. It's closed right now. And inside that building is nothing but Charles Wilson Peele paintings. I have no idea how much money that painting is worth, but the fact that it's here in Five Below headquarters, just chilling, is outrageous.
Yeah, I got it.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows about the history of the city.
He's the yeah. It's all on him.
But so during the Independence Hall, this is where George Washington, during 1776, the Rising Sun Chair, would be right about here. And if you visit Independence Hall as a tourist today, you can walk through these doors here, and then you pretty much stop. This is about as far as you can go. But just insane, the fact that this is just here. They're going to redo this space in the next few months. Who knows what it's going to be? It's not going to be as open. They're trying to make it, you see how we're the only people here? So they want to make it so people come. And yeah, so
That's awesome.
it's pretty. It's just an incredible piece of American history. And
That's awesome.
give me your baseball cap and let me cut off the bill. If you ever see the way the people dressed in the 30s and 40s and 50s, they would wear hats, and on the hat, it would have like a velvet belt, and in that belt, it would have a feather. That belt and that feather, that was considered hat trim. So you would buy a hat at the hat store, and they would hook it up with some bells and whistles for free. Another thing, a lot of the hats that were made for this store were made by Stenson, and Stenson hats used to be made in Kensington.
But it was Fishtown.
Huh? Well, listen. Everybody calls Philadelphia something different. Fishtown is Kensington. Fishtown is like, you know how South Philly? Right. Kensington's one big neighborhood.
I used to live above a lady who her brothers worked in Stetson. She used Girard Avenue.
Girard,
She was
right,
from
yeah,
Fishtown, you know.
Oh, it's actually not a grant.
What makes it an
It's a reproduction of the grant name. And in the grant name, everybody jump in the gun. The Grant House is where Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Up there somewhere, he had a spot. He didn't like the smell. He said it smelled bad, and there was horse shit everywhere, and the horses and flies. It was getting on my nerves, so we had to go up here. Him, and he had a 14-year-old slave. His name was Robin. They were up there for about 2 weeks, and he penned the Declaration of Independence. It was him, John Adams, Ben Franklin. He did the writing. Ben Franklin, John Adams, they would say, hey, get rid of this, do that. And that's the building. Here's the deal. Thomas Jefferson worked here, right? You figure you saved the building. They did it. They tore it down. And then what did they do? They built the replica of it. Look at this replica. Same thing, everything. Also, I'm going to mention the original straw bridging closures. Just remember this building, because it looked just like this. This, everybody get the cameras out. This is Flemish bond. Flemish bond is a type of brickwork you don't find much anymore because it's very, very expensive. This is a header. This is a stacker. Now the brick would get laid out like this way. So it's for every brick you see this way, there are 2 bricks laid out that way to hold it up. Big thick wall, they bake the bricks, it's Flemish bond, it's really cool. You don't see it much anymore. So whenever you see it, just go, wow. Flemish bond. Flemish bond. Sorry? Flemish bond! So that's it. Now, I found out something very cool about this building.
This is bad.
Yeah. This door is possible original to the building. Possible. Hold your friends. The back door.
It says Anderson on it.
Huh?
It says Anderson on it.
It says Anderson. It might not be that.
Well, Anderson's
This next building, I'm going to show you. What? You're like, what? In that building. Great, holy shit. And the building, it's kind of small, and in 1834, everybody was like, holy shit, science is so incredible. And they had to go to the other location. They had to move on up to a bigger location, because everybody was into science. In 2017, this was the Philadelphia History Museum, and it closed down because nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. Now all the artifacts that were inside the Philadelphia History Museum are owned by Drexel University. And some of the stuff that's in the museum is on loan to other museums. So the history of Philadelphia was not. People were so into science in 1834. 2017, nobody cares about history. And now, a homeless guy was living there. So it gives it like a aesthetic.
Is it just the front? Is that like that stone?
Yeah. I believe I was supposed to do research on here. I did the walk last week. I was like, all right, I'm almost 100% this is an old firehouse. See the fire engines? And if you look, the windows have that forced perspective. They look bigger at the bottom. Nobody died.
Oh, Jesus.
The windows are bigger at the bottom, and when you look up, it's supposed to make the building look bigger. I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
just makes the people
Makes
on the lower
sense.
floor have a hard time buying curtains. They do that in
Look at this mural.
was an old Masonic lodge in Philadelphia, and the very first flower show in the United States of America was held inside this building.
Oh, first flower show.
Point 7 became a Christmas place in that building. There was a Freemason who went down to Mexico on a vacation, and they had this weed all over this weed. And it was all of Point 7. He picked up the Point 7 and he goes, ah, this could grow in Philadelphia. China has Christmas here. So that's where, I don't know, so then he would go, if you go to the Masonic Lodge at Broad Street during Christmas time, there are thousands of Point 7s. It's like the biggest claim of fame. Like, look what we did. This dirty Mexican weed is now on your table at Christmas. This is the Quaker City Bank. Amazing architecture. Who I wonder if this